Hello friends, it's happy to see you again on another episode of East in a Different Perspective. And today's topic is which is the oldest fort or the oldest colonial fort constructed in Tamil Nadu. Many of us would refer to the St. George Fort, which is there in Chennai, but unfortunately the answer is wrong. It is Fort St. David, which is in the mouth of River Kollidam, approximately in Kadalur in current Tamil Nadu. The construction for the fort was done by the Dutch, and they were given permission to construct it from the Nayak of Genji, and they started the construction somewhere around in 1608. But unfortunately, the Nayak was not so happy with the Dutch. The construction has to stop somewhere in the middle. The almost completed fort, and still, the fort was a good trading place for many other colonial power, but no one really occupied it. And when the Marathas occupied Genji, they gave an open bidding, asking for any colonial power to bid for the fort. And the British was a very good bidder, and they got the fort, and they renamed as Fort St. David. And there was a lot of issues with the fort for the British because, as you know, the current Kadalur is very close to Pondicherry, and there was always a constant threat from the French in Pondicherry to the fort because the French knew that this is the only place where the English are, so it is easy to purge them out of Tamil Nadu if the fort is occupied. And then they found this, they thought to construct another fort, and St. George Fort was constructed. Even in that case, when Madras was under siege for two times by the French, all the big officials from the East India Company moved to Fort St. David and continued their day-to-day life. And during the famous battle, Robert Clive was protecting the fort from being occupied by the French troops. And for this fort is also a very important historically, due to the reason for the capture of this fort was the last fight between the two colonial powers in India. The French and the British had a huge fight, and eventually the French lost, and they also lost almost their colonial power in India. So this is the history of this fort, and then slowly after they constructed St. George Fort, they started to move to St. George Fort, and this fort is almost in an diminishing state. And to know more about this fort, you can refer to many books which are currently available, and also it's the first one which I referred was With Clive in India, or The Beginning of Empire by George Alfred. This is available on Kindle for free, so you can download it from Kindle, and if you have a Kindle app in your laptop, you can read it. And then Autumn in Kyle and the Charm of Cunningham by DC Cuthbertson, and this can also is an open archive which you can see it on the internet. And then a history of Ginji and its rulers, and this is also available on Google Books, so this is also for reference to know more about St. George Fort. Thank you friends.